Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the magical, sometimes dark, and always fascinating world of fairy tales, and how they transformed from ancient oral stories into the dazzling animated features we know and love. It's a journey from shadows to screen, and it's more complex than you might think. So, where do fairy tales even come from? Before they were ever written down, these stories were passed from one generation to the next, told around firesides and in nurseries. They were the original form of entertainment, but also a way to teach lessons, explain the world, and warn about its dangers. Think about it. Little Red Riding Hood isn't just about a girl in a red cloak. It's a cautionary tale about stranger danger. Hansel and Gretel warns against the allure of temptation and the very real fear of starvation. These early versions were often grim, reflecting the harsh realities of life. They were full of shadows, both literal and metaphorical. Then came the printing press, and everything changed. Collectors and writers like Charles Perrault in 17th century France and, most famously, the Brothers Grimm in 19th century Germany, began to gather these oral stories and publish them. But they didn't just record them. They curated and often sanitized them for a new literate audience, particularly the rising middle class. Perrault added elegant morals to his tales, aiming them at the French court. The Grimms, while trying to preserve German folklore, also edited their collections over time, making them a bit more suitable for children, though many of their original versions were still quite intense. This was a crucial step. Fairy tales were being codified, given a definitive shape, and prepared for a mass audience. As we moved into the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a new form of storytelling emerged: cinema. And one of the earliest pioneers of visual magic was Lotte Reiniger. In 1926, years before Disney's first feature, she created The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, the oldest surviving animated feature film. Using intricate paper cutouts and a multiplane camera she invented herself, Reiniger brought fairy tales to life with stunning silhouette animation. Her work was literally made of shadows and light. It was a direct, beautiful link between the old, dark oral traditions and the new medium of film. She wasn't just adapting stories. She was translating their very essence, the play of light and dark, good and evil, into a visual language. And then, of course, came the Titan, Walt Disney. In 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered, and it wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomenon. Disney took the Grimm's dark tale and transformed it into a vibrant Technicolor musical spectacle. This was the birth of the modern animated fairy tale as we know it. Disney's formula was revolutionary. Take a classic story, soften the darkest elements, add memorable songs, lovable sidekicks, and a clear, triumphant victory of good over evil. Snow White wasn't just a passive victim. She was a kind, hopeful protagonist. The evil queen was terrifying, but her demise was definitive. The dwarfs provided comic relief and heart. This Disney formula became the blueprint for decades. Cinderella in 1950, Sleeping Beauty in 1959. Each film further refined this approach. The focus shifted from the cautionary aspects of the original tales to themes of hope, romance, and the idea that dreams can come true. The animation became more and more sophisticated, creating lush, believable worlds that audiences could escape into. For many of us, these Disney versions are the definitive versions. When you think of Cinderella, you probably picture a blue ball gown and glass slippers, not the grislier details from the Grimm's version involving birds and, well, let's just say it gets messy. But as we moved toward the end of the 20th century, audiences and creators started to get a little tired of the classic princess narrative. A new wave of animation began to question and deconstruct the very tropes Disney had established. Enter Shrek in 2001. DreamWorks Animation turned the fairy tale world on its head. The handsome prince was the villain, the monster was the hero, and the princess learned to love her true, unconventional self. Shrek was a hilarious, satirical take that lovingly poked fun at the Disney formula, while also telling a genuinely heartfelt story about inner beauty and acceptance. It opened the floodgates for a new kind of animated fairy tale, one that was self-aware, witty, and often aimed as much at adults as it was at kids. Following this trend, even Disney started to evolve its own formula. The princesses of the Disney revival era are a world away from Snow White. Tangledy's Rapunzel is proactive and adventurous. Frozen famously centered the story on the bond between two sisters, with the act of true love being sisterly, not romantic. Moana is a chief in training who embarks on a quest to save her people, with no prince in sight. These films reflect a modern sensibility. The characters are more complex, their motivations are more nuanced, and the definition of happily ever after has become much broader. It's no longer just about marrying a prince. It's about self-discovery, fulfilling your potential, and finding your own path. Today, the evolution continues. We see studios from all over the world offering their unique takes. Ireland's Cartoon Saloon, for instance, creates breathtakingly beautiful films like Wolfwalkers and Song of the Sea, which are deeply rooted in specific folklore and mythology, much like the original Grimm tales. These films have a handmade, artistic quality that feels like a modern-day Lotte Reiniger, using 2D animation to create a sense of timeless wonder. They prove that there isn't just one way to animate a fairy tale. So from shadowy warnings told around a fire to the printed page to the silhouette magic of Lotte Reiniger through the golden age of Disney, the satirical genius of Shrek, and into the modern era of complex, empowered heroes, the fairy tale has proven to be incredibly resilient and adaptable. Each generation reinterprets these stories, reflecting its own values, fears, and hopes back at us. They are a mirror to our society. The technology and the messages may change, but the core magic, that power to transport us, to teach us, and to make us believe in the extraordinary, remains the same. They started in the shadows, and now, on screens big and small, they continue to shine brighter than ever. What's your favorite animated fairy tale adaptation? Is it a classic Disney, a modern subversion, or something else entirely? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through animation history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.